suggestions on where I think they should go, what suits them best. So these are not the 10 best managers available, these are just 10 of the most interesting managers available. I've tried to get a wide range of choices here, but of these managers, let me know where you think any of them are going. And just a quick side note, I'm not included Jose Mourinho or Jurgen Klopp in here. One, Jose Mourinho, because I made an entire video dedicated to where I think he will go, so check that out. I'll put a link to that in the description. And then Klopp, I mean, he's already said that he's not going to go straight back into management, so I've left him out of this video as well. But besides those 10, we still have a lot of good talent in this video. And let's begin in no particular order with number 1, Thomas Tuchel. So currently not a free agent, but soon to be. Thomas Tuchel will be leaving Bayern at the end of the season after a really poor spell there. The 50-year-old replaced Julian Nagelsmann at the German champions in March 2023 on a deal until 2025, but the former Chelsea boss will depart a year earlier as part of a sporting realignment at Bayern. Now, he led Bayern to last season's Bundesliga title after taking over in spring, albeit due to Dortmund's failures. But they are now sitting 8 points behind leaders by Leverkusen after back-to-back league defeats, and they were also beaten 1-0 by Lazio in the first leg of their Champions League's last 16 tie. The wheels have fallen off at Bayern, but to be fair, this situation has been a little bit overblown. He's not done a terrible job. Bayern are still a very good team this season, and if it wasn't for Leverkusen having generally one of the most impressive seasons in the top 5 leagues in the last decade, then Bayern would be comfortably top of the league. So Tuchel is still a good manager, and of course we can't forget what he's done previously with the likes of Dortmund, PSG and Chelsea. So for me, I think this next move is crucial for Tuchel, as this will probably be his last chance to manage at the elite level. If his next job does fail, then I think his time managing at the elite level could be over. West Ham have been linked, and while that would be great, I don't think he takes that he can aim higher. The likes of Roma and Napoli are okay, but again I think he could do better. Barcelona has been linked. I mean, I think that could work, but not really in the long term. Tuchel is not a long term guy, and I think his style of football wouldn't go down too well with Barca fans. A return to Chelsea as a Chelsea fan personally, I would love that, but the board wouldn't do that. So best place I see Tuchel going for me is the German national team. Now Nagelsmann is managing the Euros, but his contract ends after that, and he is almost certain to return to the club game regardless of what happens at the Euros, meaning they will need a new manager. Ironically, Tuchel came in to replace Nagelsmann at Bayern, but I think Tuchel should go in and replace Nagelsmann at Germany, because arguably Tuchel is the best German manager besides Klopp in the world, and he's available. He's known also as a cup knockout specialist, winning the UCL with Chelsea, getting PSG to their only UCL final. He's got a pragmatic style which would be perfect for the national team. He knows a lot of the players already from his time at Bayern. This just makes perfect sense and should happen in my opinion. I think he would thrive there. But if he wanted to stay in the club game, I mean, I'm not really sure his potential destinations, to be honest. Next up, number 2, Jesse Marsch. Now, despite being linked to so many clubs since leaving Leeds, Jesse Marsch is still without a club. Now, apparently, he actually has rejected jobs with Leicester and Southampton both approaching him. So clearly, he is waiting for that right project. He did okay at Leeds and would say a championship move would be good. A project club that will give him time suits him, such as the Swansea, who have been known for developing good managers and being a progressive club. Other than that, I don't think he's good enough right now for the Premier League. So I do think a championship club is best, or maybe like a Bundesliga club or something. But personally, I would love to see him in the US men's national team role. Alright, next up, Xavi Hernandez. One of many managers this season who has already announced they are leaving at the end of the season. Xavi will enter the manager free agent market this summer, and despite many Barca fans giving him heat, he's actually got a decent CV to land a good job. Barcelona were 9th in La Liga when Xavi took over in 2021, and he guided them to a second place finish and secured Champions League football. He then led Barca to a first La Liga title since 2019 in his first full season, as well as claiming the Supercopa with a brilliant performance in the final against Real Madrid. Since then, both midfielders Sergio Busquets and winger Ousmane Dembele, two of Xavi's favourite players, have left, and neither was properly replaced, while injuries, notably to players such as Marc-Andre ter Stegen and Xavi, have also damaged the team. Decisions on incoming players such as the double loan signing of defender Joao Cancelo and Joao Felix were made above the coach's head too, and he had a general lack of funds to sign players. So given those circumstances, he's actually done pretty decent at Barca. So the question is, where will he go next? Now, I really think Xavi could succeed as a manager and use this experience of working at such a big club to succeed at a smaller club compared to Barca. Teams such as Napoli or Roma would be really, really good moves for him, and I think one of those two teams would make a lot of sense. However, I wouldn't be surprised, given his reason for leaving is due to the pressure from media and external factors, if he took a break from management and we don't really see him for like a year or two. I also wouldn't be shocked if he took a little break, waited after the Euros. Spain are awful at the Euros, and then he maybe goes in and takes that job. It could happen, and that would be really, really fun. I would be down for that. But yeah, I think, to be honest, we might see Xavi take a little break from management for a while. I don't think he'll be jumping in for jobs anytime soon, but I think he can still land a pretty solid job. Next up, number 4, Urs Fischer. Wait, is that number 4? Yeah, number 4. So, one of the harshest sackings Urs Fischer this season was let go by his club, Union Berlin. Now, Union are in their 5th successive Bundesliga season since Fischer achieved their first promotion to Germany's top tier in his debut season. The fan-owned club qualified for Europe in each of the past 3 seasons, and this year are competing in the Champions League for the first time. However, Union were bottom of the Bundesliga after 11 games this season, prompting his sacking. Now, despite the wheels falling off this year, Fischer has built a club from a mid-table second-tier side into a side playing at the Bernabeu in the Champions League. So he's clearly a great manager and good at building a club up as a long-term guy. I think a Bundesliga club looking to build themselves up is a good fit for him, similar to Marsch, a club who will give him plenty of time with not too much expectation. A team such as Werder Bremen would be fun. A really punchy and interesting one though, which could go really, really bad or really, really good, is Schalke. If Fischer is willing to risk it all, he could go to Schalke, a club who have been in turmoil and got through hundreds of managers in the last 4 years, and are currently near to relegation to the 3rd tier of German football. Fischer would be the perfect potential candidate to take Schalke back to where they belong, similar style to how he did with Union. It's high risk but very high reward. Nevertheless, a lot of Bundesliga clubs would be looking at him and don't don't be shocked if you see him in a job soon. Next up, number 5, Graham Potter. Before his move to Chelsea, Potter was one of the hottest managers in the Prem. And no, I don't mean like that. Anyway, everybody was looking at Potter as the next big thing, a potential England manager, a potential Big Six manager. Well, he got his move to Chelsea and it was quite frankly a disaster. But not all of it was his fault, and as we've seen, that Chelsea job isn't easy. Despite his failure at Chelsea, Potter has plenty of credit in the bank from his time at Brighton, and many clubs would love to have him. A return to the Prem could make sense with teams like Fulham or maybe West Ham looking for new managers. He's heavily linked to the Man United job, as apparently Ineos like him, but I don't think he should go there. I don't think that's the right fit. I think he should take a little bit of a step down. But to be honest, I actually think, given Potter's unorthodox career so far, managing in Sweden, I believe he could go abroad, and I think he can get a pretty good job and rebuild himself. One job which I think makes incredible sense is Borussia Dortmund. If that potentially comes available, Potter likes working with youngsters and would fit that club well, in my opinion. But I don't know how realistic an option that is. Besides that, I think a team such as Monaco or something, if that came available, would be good. But personally, I do think moving out of England could be a good fit if he doesn't get a West Ham job. I think move out England, go to like a team in Champions League, Europa League level, in top 5 league, and test himself. I would love to see him do that. Next up, number 6, Julian Nagelsmann. Now this one is a bit of a sketchy one. As I mentioned before, Nagelsmann is in a job and could stay on, but his contract expires this summer, and unless, he wins the Euros, I don't think he will be sticking around the national team for much longer, and will look to return to club football with lots of big jobs available this summer. Nagelsmann was, and still is to be fair, recognised as one of the game's most promising managerial talents, having taken charge of Hoffenheim aged 28 before moving to RB Leipzig. He led the club to the Champions League semi-finals, and that prompted Bayern to pay an extraordinary €25 million to Leipzig to free Nagelsmann from his contract and succeed Hansi Flick at Bayern. He won the league title in his first season alongside 2 German Super Cups, but was sacked in March after a run of 5 wins from 10 league games. So his reputation has taken a bit of a hit, but still, I think many elite clubs will be looking at him, unless he has an absolutely abysmal Euros which tanks his reputation, but I'm not sure it'll be that bad. The Liverpool and Barca jobs are 2 jobs available this summer that for me would make perfect sense for him. He has a similar style to the way the clubs want to play and would fit them very well. Elsewhere, maybe if Alonso leaves Leverkusen, maybe he could go there, but I think he can aim higher than that. So for me, Barca or Liverpool, he would be perfect at either of these clubs if he was in charge of those. And if I was the directors at those 2 clubs, I'll be making him either my number 1 or number 2 choice, because I think he would be fantastic for either of those clubs. So I think he should try and go for those 2 jobs. Number 7, Julen Lopetegui. Lopetegui is, like a lot of other managers on this list, a bit of a fiery character. He controversially joined Real Madrid as manager just a few weeks before the start of the 2022 World Cup, where he was meant to be in charge of Spain, and then at Wolves walked out 1 week before the season started. But despite this, he is a very good manager. As I said, he managed Real Madrid, he managed Spain, won a Europa League with Sevilla, and kept Wolves up last season, despite them being bottom when he joined. So he's very good at coaching, but is a bit of a short-term manager. I think he can return to the Prem. West Ham suits him very well in my opinion, given his style of play and European pedigree. With Moyes potentially gone this summer, this makes perfect sense. Other than Silva was to leave, but a move back to Spain to a club like Real Betis or Villarreal I think makes the most sense, as he knows that league very, very well and could do decent for them. I think any club looking for any club in that Europa League, Conference League positions should be looking at Julen Lopetegui, because he is a really solid manager, albeit maybe not a long-term guy and will probably burn the house in flames once he leaves, but still a good manager. Number 8, Hansi Flick. One of the best and biggest managers out of a job. Hansi Flick, well, I think is one of the best managers because it's a bit hard to judge him. He came in midway through the season for Bayern and won them a dominant treble, obliterating everybody they played, but that was during a COVID season and COVID UCL. He then, in his second season, won the league but lost in the Champions League last 16 to PSG, but that was due to a lot of injuries. He then quit due to disagreements with the board, joined the German national team where he was shocking, getting knocked out in the groups of the 2022 World Cup and then losing 4 of his last 5 games and just 12 wins in his 25 matches in charge, prompting him to get sacked. So it's a very weird one. Is he a very good manager or not? He plays some incredible football for Bayern and to be fair, Germany at points as well, but I have no clue how good he really is. Despite this, I do think Flick deserves one more big shot at the top to prove himself, and I think he should go to a club where his style of play would fit very well, and that's a team like Napoli. Napoli played great football last year, but this year have been a mess. And I think if Flick came in now with his current squad, he would play great football again and maybe get them back to challenging for the Scudetto. Leverkusen, though, for me would also be a really, really good option, as if Alonso leaves this summer, Flick could come in, play great football with a good squad who will be back in the Champions League. He's proven he can succeed in the Bundesliga before as well, so I think this would be the best move for me, as it's a good building block to rebuild his reputation and sort of see where his level truly is at. So yeah, Flick as Leverkusen manager for me makes sense, if not, maybe Napoli. Number 9, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Another legendary player who maybe right now isn't a late legendary manager, but has shown some promise. Van Nistelrooy last season took up his first senior coaching experience at PSV, which went pretty well. He was flying in the first half of the season, but then his 2 best players, Cody Gakpo and Noni Madueke, left in January, and that killed his season. Despite this, he still managed to win the domestic cup. He left in the summer though, resigning, citing a lack of support from a board as the main reason. And he's not returned to management since. So he's inexperienced but has shown promise in his managerial career so far. Given his experience in England as a player, I definitely think he can manage in England. In fact, I would like to see him in the Prem just to see how he is. Even though he's not got much experience, I think a Prem club such as Everton should possibly take a gamble on him if they wanted a new manager. I think he's got potential, and I really do want to see him tested in a big league, so it would be interesting to see how he does in the Prem. Elsewhere, I mean, maybe go back to another Dutch club, but as I said, I want to see him go to a top 5 league, really see how good Ruud van Nistelrooy as a coach is, because he had a pretty decent spell at PSV, but now I want to see him tested at the top level. Right, and finally, number 10, Antonio Conte. So finally, one of the best managers available right now is Antonio Conte. Conte needs no introduction. We all know he's a top manager. The only problem with him is, like a lot of other managers on this list, which is probably the reason they ain't got a club right now, is his temper. Conte is a win now Same thing. Atletico Madrid, he suits them very well, but Simeone isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Bayern Munich doesn't really suit them either, quite similar to Tuchel. So there's only a few options for him. A return to Italy makes complete sense. In Italy there's 3 clubs maybe I could see him fitting. AC Milan, I mean, I'm not sure if he takes this job given his Inter ties, but if he wanted to, that job could be available this summer with Pioli's contract expiring, and I think Conte would be a fantastic option for them. But then again, I don't know if that job becomes available. Maybe a return to Juve if Allegri was to leave. I could see that working, but again, I don't think that job's going to be available because Allegri's doing very well. Napoli, maybe. However, I think the job that makes the most sense is Roma. Mourinho, who has just left, has a very similar style to Conte. They play a similar way, and of course, Lukaku, who's Conte's baby, is at Roma. So I think this would work very well. Roma or AC Milan would be great for Conte. Besides that, outside of Italy, I don't really know what other clubs Conte could go to, but I think we'll see Conte managing in Serie A again very soon. So there we go. Those were the 10 managers who are currently out of a job and where I think they should go. Let's summarise. So Thomas Tuchel, German national team. Jesse Marsch, Championship club. Xavi, take a break and maybe go into like a Napoli or Roma. Urs Fischer, go to a Bundesliga side. Graham Potter, try and go for a Dortmund or like a Leverkusen or a West Ham. Julian Nagelsmann, Liverpool, Barcelona. Julen Lopetegui, a West Ham. Hansi Flick by Leverkusen. Ruud van Nistelrooy, go to like a Prem club such as Everton. And Antonio Conte, AC Milan or Roma or any other Serie A team. So there we are. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys have enjoyed,